Hey, what's going on, guys? Gamerdude back once again with another episode in our Just Facts series. Today we are discussing something else which seems to have wormed its way back from the dead yet again. That's happening an awful lot these days, don't you think? But yes, as you have no doubt figured from the title, it is Splinter Cell, the iconic stealth game that's had people rage quitting for years. I, for one, am one of those people. After the last entry in the series back in 2013, the studio has decided to revive this long-thought finished chain. And today we are going to find out why. So, on with the show. Well, before we get into detail on this revival, let's get a brief history of Splinter Cell for those of you who may not know the history of the series and why it finished. So, the first Splinter Cell game released way back in 2002, when gaming was still in its infancy and development teams were still figuring out what people wanted as the gaming industry moved forward. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell was developed in 2 years and published and released by Ubisoft for the Xbox, Microsoft Windows, Mac, PlayStation 2, GameCube and Game Boy Advance. I had it on PlayStation and Game Boy Advance. It was inspired by the Metal Gear Solid series, and it used an Unreal Engine 2 that was modified to allow light and dark based gameplay. Next up was Pandora Tomorrow. Released in 2004, 2 years after the first, and it was also when the PS2 and original Xbox were at their peak, but also coming to the end of their lifespans. Pandora Tomorrow was developed by Ubisoft Shanghai, and also introduced multiplayer gameplay to the Splinter Cell series. In single-player mode, the game AI adapts to adjust to the player's skill level, unlike other games of the time. This generally lent towards information-based threats. The plot of Pandora Tomorrow focuses on biological warfare, in which an Indonesian terrorist group threatens to infect people with the smallpox virus. That would probably have led to a zombie apocalypse or some shit, you know it, right? Sam Fisher is also given new abilities like SWAT turns and whistling to attract the attention of enemies. Moving into next gen on PS3 and Xbox 360, although this was also released on previous gen, we have Chaos Theory. Ubisoft Montreal was again responsible for the third game in the series. It added a cooperative multiplayer mode as well. It was originally announced to be released in fall of 2004. Its initial releases were made at the end of March 2005. Again, the Unreal Engine was heavily modified, this time from version 2.5. The game included a number of new features, including adding a combat knife to the player's inventory, maps, and also much more open with multiple ways of achieving the end goal. Now, the next one was a console exclusive and was only available on the PSP. Again, I've said this numerous times, a seriously underrated console and way before its time. Anyway, this game was called Splinter Cell Essentials. Essentials extends the Splinter Cell, or should I say extended the Splinter Cell series to the PSP platform through a series of flashback missions. The player learns more about Sam Fisher's backstory. The game's critical reception was much worse than the other games in the whole series, to be fair. While the graphics were considered high quality for the PSP, the multiplayer and main story was actually considered to be almost unplayable. So, moving on from that disappointment, the fourth installment in the series was released in 2006 and was named Double Agent. For the series' fourth installment, two separate versions were created. One for Generation 6 consoles, the Wii, and the other, Xbox 360 and PC. Double Agent featured a trust system that presents the player with real-world moral dilemmas. It was the first game in the series with a hub-like area where you could explore and do objectives in between missions. This was also the only game in the series to have different endings based on player decisions. Only one ending is used to continue the storyline from the original games. So after a couple of years of delays, the next game came along. Releasing in 2010, it was called Splinter Cell Conviction. Conviction was officially announced on May 23, 2007, when Ubisoft released a trailer for the game at that year's E3. The game was due for release on the same year on November 16, 2007. However, the game missed its initial launch date of May 19, 2008. It was reported that Splinter Cell Conviction was officially on hold, and that the game had been taken back to the drawing board. Ubisoft announced that the game had been pushed back to 2009-2010 fiscal year. At E3 2009, the developers confirmed that the new Conviction had been in development since early 2008, commenting that the gameplay had evolved a lot and the visual direction was much better and way easier to comprehend. The game's release date was pushed back several times. On March 18, 2010, the demo was finally released for the Xbox 360. Ubisoft wanted to make the fifth game more accessible. So Conviction was designed around the new core elements, like mark and execute, and last known position, while stealth elements presented in the previous games were implemented, such as ability to whistle, lockpicking, hiding bodies, etc. Conviction uses a cover system and added simple interrogation sequences to the series. Now, finally, we have what was thought to be the last game in the series, which dropped in 2013, and since the Splinter Cell series has been on an indefinite hold. Until now, that is. But before we go into detail on that, let's break down the last in the Splinter Cell series. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Blacklist was the sixth installment in the Splinter Cell series, developed by Ubisoft Toronto and published by Ubisoft itself. It was released in August of 2013. Splinter Cell Blacklist boasted new features combining gameplay from Chaos Theory and Conviction. Series veteran Michael Ironside was replaced in his role as Sam Fisher by actor Eric Johnson. In the game, Sam Fisher had been appointed the commander of the new 4th Echelon and Clandestine unit that answers solely to the President of the United States. She has denied any existence of the agency, and 4th Echelon is working to stop the new terror plot known as Blacklist, hence the game's name. So, with the brief history over, let's get on with what's new. If you're actually still watching, that is. So, after years of silence from Splinter Cell, GameStop appears to have added to the rumour mill yet again, with another Splinter Cell goggle-related leak that suggests a new entry in the series is heading our way sometime soon. A Reddit user by the name of Drunk Uncle Pete spotted a listing for a replica pair of Sam Fisher's trademark goggles. Nothing special, I admit. However, the listing appears to have since been removed. But thanks to a screenshot posted on the Reddit thread, we can still see the item's description, which says a new game is on the horizon. Rather fishy. I mean, I've got the picture up here. The goggles are exactly identical to the ones we see in the game. They were $40, and it does in fact say in the description a new game is on the way. So for the first time since the introduction of the Splinter Cell series in 2002, after 9 top-selling AAA titles, and with the 10th release on the horizon, this is our first chance to own like Sam Fisher's signature ultra high frequency sonar goggles, the description reads. Obviously they wouldn't be working, they'd just be a cool decoration or something to put on your shelf. This could of course just be a mistake, but it has piqued my curiosity and the curiosity of the gaming community. The original page for the goggles showed an expected pre-order date for November the 1st, 2019, which isn't that far away if you think about it. When you consider Ghost Recon Breakpoint is just around the corner and Watch Dogs Legion is on the horizon, it's quite unlikely Ubisoft would reunite us with Sam Fisher quite so soon, and in the middle of these next big titles that are on the way. This certainly isn't the first leak to surface about the potential future of Splinter Cell though. Last year, a listing for Splinter Cell 2018 appeared on Amazon, but nothing was confirmed at E3 that year, to cement that it was actually official. Just shy of E3 2019, some goggles also appeared on a listing for the E3 collectibles on GameStop's website, with the very same pre-order date, before being swiftly and promptly removed. It's been quite some time since we joined Sam Fisher in the Tom Clancy's stealthy adventures. The last game to release, as I said earlier, was Blacklist on the PC for Xbox 360, PS3, Nintendo Wii U, way back in 2013. Since then, there have been plenty of rumours about a potential sequel, and fans have been eagerly awaiting any confirmation and any information regarding this. After an IGN interview with Ubisoft's CEO, he revealed why we haven't actually had a new Splinter Cell game for almost 6 years. The CEO of Ubisoft recently did tease Sam Fisher's return in an interview with Gamer Sky. The Ubisoft CEO suggested that the series could go in a completely new direction, and with world floating around, and with a new world floating around the new Splinter Cell, potentially coming to the world of VR. Now, I'm not too sure how I feel about that because I still haven't got a VR headset. So, with so much chatter about the return of the series, the prospect of a new Splinter Cell game in the future does seem quite unlikely at this moment in time, at least for now. But we will just have to wait and see and watch out before we can officially get to see Mr. Fisher return again in a decent game. So what do you guys think about this? Do you miss the Splinter Cell series? Do you even know what it is? Did you play the original games? Did you enjoy them? Do you feel like they were just a rip-off of all the other stealth games that were out at the time? Or did you enjoy them so much that you were sad to see it come to an abrupt end in 2013? Don't hesitate to let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this. But anyway, yeah, that is it for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope I've expanded your gaming knowledge and given you an inside look into this miraculous resurrection. So stay tuned tomorrow, because if I am awake, we will of course be continuing a game in place of our Telltale game series until we're able to replace The Walking Dead Season 3. Again, I'm not going to go into detail on it. I've told you guys so many times what happened to my game. There's no need to repeat myself. Also, stay tuned later today, because a couple of hours after this has uploaded, we will be doing our long play of Spider-Man. For the 1 year anniversary of the game, we'll be playing the City That Never Sleeps DLCs. So if you guys love Spider-Man, if you guys love the game, do stay tuned for that. It's going to be a great stream. Probably going to be going all night. So if I do it right, if I don't mess around, it'll be about 4, maybe 5 hours for us to complete all 3 DLCs. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be really fun. We're going to be chatting about the game. We're going to be chatting about Sony Marvel split, etc, etc. You'll just have to stop into the stream to see what I'm talking about. Shout out to all subscribers, old and new. We are now at 957, getting ever so close to that 1k milestone, which is an absolutely amazing achievement, and I can't thank you all enough for the continuous support and views of my content. If you are new to the channel and enjoyed this video or any of my other content, make sure you smash that like button and drop me a subscribe. I always sub back to new subscribers and view any content you may be producing. So that being said, this has been Just the Facts with Gamerdude. Happy gaming, and I will catch you all in the next one, guys.